He woke up at 3:15 every single morning. Not because of a nightmare, not because of a sound. He woke up at exactly 3:15 because that was the precise moment 1 year earlier that 6 members of a family had been shot dead in their bed, in the same house, in the same rooms where his children now slept. This is 112 Ocean Avenue, and what happened inside it may never be fully explained. Welcome back to the Midnight Ledger. We open the case files on real hauntings, paranormal history, and the stories that refuse to stay buried. Tonight's case is one of the most famous and most controversial haunted house stories in American history. A mass murder, a desperate family, 28 days of terror, and a mystery that has divided investigators for over 50 years. Let's open the file. To understand the haunting, you have to understand what happened first. November 13th, 1974, Amityville, New York. A quiet suburban town on Long Island, just 30 miles outside New York City. 112 Ocean Avenue was by all appearances a beautiful home. A large Dutch colonial house with a distinctive gambrel roof, 5 bedrooms, a swimming pool, a boathouse on a canal, the kind of house families dream about. That night, while the DeFeo family slept, someone walked through those rooms with a .35 caliber Marlin rifle. Ronald DeFeo Sr. and his wife Louise, their children, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John. All 6 were shot dead in their beds. No signs of struggle. No signs that anyone woke up or tried to run. The entire family silenced in their sleep. The only surviving member of the household was 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr., known as Butch. That evening, Butch walked into a nearby bar and told the crowd, "You've got to help me. I think my mother and father are shot." Police arrived at 112 Ocean Avenue and found all 6 bodies, each in their own bed, each shot once, each positioned as if they had simply never woken up. Butch DeFeo was arrested, tried, and convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 6 consecutive terms of 25 years to life. At trial, his defense attempted to argue that voices in the house had driven him to kill. The jury didn't buy it. But that detail, the voices, would echo far beyond the courtroom, because 13 months after the murders, someone moved into that house. George and Kathy Lutz were a young couple with 3 children and big dreams. When they saw 112 Ocean Avenue listed at the bargain price of $80,000, well below market value, they knew why it was cheap. They knew about the murders. They bought it anyway. It was a dream come true, George later told ABC News. He called a Catholic priest named Father Pecoraro to bless the home before they moved in, just as a precaution. During the blessing, the priest entered one of the upstairs rooms. According to George, something in that room spoke. A voice, clear, sharp, and close, said 2 words, "Get out." The priest left the room immediately. He warned the Lutzes, "Don't use that room. Don't let the children sleep there." The family moved in anyway, December 1975. They had everything they needed. A beautiful home, space for the kids, a fresh start. What followed would last exactly 28 days. From the very first nights, the family reported things that made no sense. George began waking up every night at exactly 3:15 in the morning, the estimated time of the DeFeo murders 1 year before. He would get up, go downstairs and sit. He couldn't explain why. The temperature inside the house dropped to cold, even with the heating running. Cold spots moved through rooms. Strange odors appeared and vanished. Rancid, unexplainable smells. Then the physical phenomena began. Green slime oozed from the walls and keyholes. Doors and windows opened and closed by themselves. The furniture still filled with the DeFeo family's belongings. Swarms of flies appeared in the dead of winter. A garage door opened and closed on its own, repeatedly through the night. Kathy Lutz began having nightmares. Vivid, violent replays of the DeFeo murders, as if the house was making her watch. Then came the figure. George and his son looked out of an upstairs window one night and saw it staring back at them from outside. A pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. They called it Jody. Their young daughter began speaking about Jody as if it were her friend. On the final night, George woke in the darkness. He looked at the bed. Kathy was floating, levitating on the mattress, unconscious, drifting in the dark room. George grabbed her and pulled her down. The next morning, January 14th, 1976, the Lutz family left 112 Ocean Avenue. They didn't pack. They didn't empty the refrigerator. They didn't take their furniture or their clothing. They left everything behind. They never went back. The case attracted the attention of Ed and Lorraine Warren, America's most famous paranormal investigators, the same couple behind the Conjuring case. The Warrens entered 112 Ocean Avenue in March 1976, alongside a team of investigators and a photographer named Gene Campbell, who set up infrared cameras to shoot automatically through the night. When the film was developed, one image stood out from the rest. In the doorway of the second-floor landing, a small, pale figure, white eyes, looking directly at the camera. No one had been standing there. The house had been sealed. The image has never been definitively explained. Some believe it is the ghost of one of the DeFeo children. Others say it is lens flare, a crew member, or deliberate staging. The Warrens maintained until their deaths that 112 Ocean Avenue was one of the most genuinely disturbing locations they had ever investigated. Here is where the file gets complicated. In 1977, author Jay Anson published The Amityville Horror, a book based on the Lutz family's account. It sold over 10 million copies. The 1979 film became the highest-grossing independent movie of its time. And then, in September 1979, Ronald DeFeo Jr.'s former defense attorney, William Weber, gave an interview to People magazine. He claimed the haunting story was invented, fabricated, he said, by himself and the Lutzes over bowls of wine as a way to profit from the murders. It seemed like the case was closed, but then it got complicated again. At the time of Weber's statement, he was in the middle of a bitter legal dispute with the Lutzes. Many investigators pointed out he had direct motive to discredit them. George and Kathy Lutz both voluntarily took polygraph tests administered by two of the top examiners in the country. Both passed. They were not lying, at least not about believing what they experienced. The family that bought the house after the Lutzes, the Cromarties, lived there for 10 years and reported nothing paranormal. James Cromartie later said, "Nothing weird ever happened, except people coming by because of the book and the movie." So what is the truth? 6 people were undeniably murdered in that house. The Lutzes undeniably fled in terror. A photograph was undeniably taken of something that shouldn't have been there. Whether the haunting was real, fabricated, or something in between, something happened at 112 Ocean Avenue, and no one has ever fully agreed on what. The Amityville house still stands today. It's been quietly sold multiple times since the Lutzes. The address was changed. The iconic quarter-round eye windows on the upper floor were replaced in an attempt to make it unrecognizable. It didn't work. People still find it. And here is the question I keep returning to when I look at this case. 6 people were shot dead in their beds, in complete silence, with no signs of struggle. No one in that house woke up. No one ran. No one screamed. Butch DeFeo said voices made him do it. Maybe the Lutzes heard them too. That's the Amityville Horror, one of the most debated paranormal cases in history, and one that I don't think will ever be fully closed. If you want more cases like this, real hauntings, dark history, and the stories that don't have clean endings, subscribe to the Midnight Ledger. New case file every week. Drop your verdict in the comments. Real haunting or the greatest hoax in paranormal history? I read every single one. Until next time, the ledger stays open.